Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 6 of Love Every Day. Today is January 6th, and this is week 1, day 6. I'm your host, Jesse Marks, and today I'm joined by Thomas Coons for the second day in a row.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for joining us today. Yesterday, we talked about times that you should maybe back down and times that you should keep going. If we were able to help you at all, leave a comment or send us a voice message, because we'd love to hear from you guys and what you have to say, if you have anything to add to our show, or just any thoughts, comments about anything you heard.
Earlier in the week, we were talking about big journeys and taking small steps. Today is a similar prompt to that. It's actually pretty similar too. And it is one step at a time.
Ooh, that's a good one.
One step at a time.
So, why is taking one step at a time important? Like, why do you think it's important, Jesse?
I think it's important so that you don't rush into things fast. I think life is just so fast-paced sometimes, especially here in America.
Yeah, everyone's trying to get to the next place, get to the next thing in their life so fast without pausing to take a breath and really just live in the moment and focus on how to do everything to their best possible potential.
Yeah, and I think for me especially, I'm always jumping from like one project to the other, just trying to get my kind of creative output out in the world, and I'm always jumping from one thing to the next. I'm always just moving, and I never have time to slow down and actually work on something or spend time on something. You know, I'm always rushing through things, trying to be successful in everything that I do. And you know, sometimes I just need to realize that I can't do everything at once. Right.
You know? As much as we want to.
It's not physically possible. First of all, second of all, it's not going to happen. And so I just need to slow down sometimes and just do one thing at a time and focus on one thing and be good at one thing, and then be successful or not successful in that, and then move on.
Yeah. So, what is an example of kind of taking things slow, taking one step at a time? What is an example of this in your mind?
So I mean, exactly what I just said. You know, I'm always trying to do a bunch of things at the same time. And that could be like for example, I like to write, I like to make music, I like to make podcasts, I like to make videos, I like to, you know, do all this other stuff, and I like to do all of them at the same time.
Right. And that just gets exhausting after you do it for a time. It gets
exhausting, and I can't divide my attention between all those things. And so the quality of work, it gets worse the more things I do at once.
Right.
And so by taking it one step at a time, on my journey, on my path, on my life, I'm able to develop myself, my skills, my thoughts, and I'm able to take the time and actually accomplish things.
Yeah, really focus on quality rather than quantity of content. Yeah. I know I'm the same way. I definitely...
Which is funny to say because this is supposed to be a podcast that's going to go every day of the year, which is not a usual thing.
Right. It's a little hypocritical on our part, but you know, it's okay. We don't talk about that.
Yeah. I mean, like everything in life, you have to balance things with how much you're willing to risk. Kind of like what we talked about yesterday.
Right. Yeah.
Like you can do it. I know I can do this podcast. It's just how much am I willing to sacrifice?
Right. You definitely don't want to sacrifice your own sanity for something. You know, you want to hang on to what you have. I'm calling you insane, Jesse. Nah, I'm joking.
Hey, it's accurate. I think everyone has a little bit of insanity in them.
Oh, definitely.
So when we're talking like one step at a time, usually you know what that next step is. Like usually you have a plan of attack, a plan of action.
Right. A lot of times you have several steps planned out already.
Yeah. But sometimes you're at this crossroads in life, and you're not sure where to go next. How do you take that leap of faith, and how do you take that next step when you don't know what that next step is?
That's a good question. For some people, it comes down to what they believe in spiritually. I know that not everyone is religious in any way, or in every way. But for a lot of people, it comes to a spiritual, what they believe in, and they're just told to take a leap of faith and just trust that everything will work out. And sometimes, even if you're not spiritual at all, sometimes that's what you got to do, in a sense, is just take a step and hope that it'll work out, which it will always have some sort of end result, whether it's the one that you intended to happen or not, which a lot of times in my experience, it's been a step that has not been anywhere near what I was planning on it turning out as, but it helped me in some way, shape, or form, whether it helped me learn from a mistake or a failure that I did in my life, or if it turned out for the better than I was actually planning for. It's all kind of like a learning process, and that can be the kind of benefit that you take from just one step at a time, even if you don't know what the next step is going to lead to.
You know, that's totally fair to say. And you mentioned something just now. You said sometimes you take a next step and it leads to something better than you expected. You know, those happy accidents in life are really something special sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Like Bob Ross always said, just a happy little accident. It's not a mistake. It's a happy little accident. Rest in peace, Bob Ross.
That's so true, though.
It is.
That's so true.
That man was a man of wisdom.
No, but those happy little accidents in life, you can't ever plan them. But when they happen,
they're usually one of the best things to ever happen to you.
Yeah, it's something to celebrate, and it's something you can't take for granted either.
No, not at all. Not at all.
So going back to leap of faith, the point of a leap of faith is that you don't know what the next step is, and sometimes you're scared to take it. How do you, or can you share a moment that you've been motivated by something, or what motivates you to get over that scare factor when you don't know what will happen?
Well, for me, I've always been kind of an adrenaline junkie, if you will. Like, I always like to do crazy stuff that could potentially hurt me, but I still love to do it. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I still love to do it. So for me personally, I've always enjoyed taking that leap of faith to the next step and figuring out the consequences afterwards. So for me, it's just like, just breathe and then do it. It's not that easy for a lot of people, but it's easy for me to do that just because, yes, it's scary, but I also know that if I don't do it, I could possibly end up regret it. Like, I'll look back on it and be like, oh, I really wish I would have done that,
Is there something that you know of that you do regret, that maybe you should have taken that leap of faith and you didn't?
Nothing specifically comes to mind.
So I can think of something. It was last year before I had started school, a couple months before I started school. I got a job offer from a family friend to work at their IT company. Now, I don't really have any IT experience. I'm good with computers and I'm good with kind of tech stuff, but I don't have any IT experience at all. But when we were going back and forth about it, I was like, if I did this, obviously I'd be taking a couple classes or whatever. And he's like, you'd be going to Hawkeye for a couple classes, but yeah. And I was considering it, but I wasn't sure if that was what I wanted to do, because it was before I'd started school, and at the time I was working on the film that I had mentioned yesterday. And so I was at this crossroads of, do I go to school for something I love, or do I go and get this job, which I might like, which I might not like, but it's also pretty high paying, or will eventually be high paying. And so I was at this crossroads, and I didn't know what the end result was. I mean, can you ever really know what the end result is?
Not really, no. I mean, you can have an idea of what you want it to be, but you can't ever know exactly how it's going to turn out.
And so that's, looking back at it now, I can't say I regret saying no to it, but I definitely should have given it more consideration. But so that was something that I was at a crossroads with, that I did not take that leap of faith. Or maybe it's better to look at, I took a different leap of faith with going down the schooling path for digital media. And that leap of faith has so far turned out to be very successful. And I would not look back on that.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of the projects you've worked on. I've helped you with a lot of the projects you've worked on, and they've turned out good.
So as far as overcoming that fear of, do I take this leap of faith? For me, I would say that you really have to, kind of what we talked about yesterday, step back, analyze your motivation, your end goals, the tools that you have, the tools you don't have, where you want to go, where you want to be, where you have been. Just analyze and try and figure out what you want, and then go for it. Really, take the step. Take the step.
Yeah, even if you don't know how it's going to turn out, just you'll never know how it's going to turn out if you don't do it.
And if you're an entrepreneur or are thinking about being an entrepreneur, then you definitely need to take that leap of faith, because I mean that's what entrepreneuring is. It's taking the leap of faith on this product, on this service, on this thing, and trying to sell it. Maybe it doesn't work.
It's the same way with music. Maybe you don't know how it's going to turn out. I mean, I don't know how my music career is going to turn out. I hope it turns out great. I hope that I live the life that I've always envisioned, but I have to take that leap of faith to keep bettering myself and to keep taking chances on this thing that I'm creating, this art. I have to take chances on it to see where I'll end up.
And you can really never know where you will end up. I think that's the awesome thing about life is there's so many different choices you can make, and each one leads to a different ending. But don't be scared about that, because that's an amazing thing. If every choice you made ended up in the same place, what would be like the point of making any choices?
Yeah, you just live your life all day, just in bed, just scrolling through your phone on Instagram or Twitter or something, if you never took any chances.
And actually, now that I say that, I have to go back on it, because pretty much every choice you make does lead to the final outcome, which is death.
Right. That's a very morbid way of looking at it, but you know,
it's a very morbid way to look at it. If you don't want it to be so morbid, you could look at it religiously. I know what I believe in. Maybe you need to know what you believe in too. But it was kind of like a very long rabbit trail from one step at a time to overcoming a leap of faith. But I think it's all connected.
Yeah, it's all connected. It's all connected for sure.
Yeah, you kind of need to know, regardless of what next step you're taking, you just need to know that you need to take it one step at a time. Don't rush through things.
One step closer. Jesse doesn't recognize that song.
If you know what song that is,
leave a comment. I forget who it's by. It has an Adele vibe. I forget who it's by, but if you know who it's by, drop the rest of the lyrics in a comment or something. Let's educate Jesse.
But yeah, I mean they're all connected. You can't rush through things. You gotta take it slow. You gotta, if you are facing a leap of faith, kind of what we talked about yesterday, you can do it. You gotta overcome it. You gotta step back, analyze things, and figure out what you want and what that next step is, and then just go for it.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. Hope this brought some sort of something to think about throughout the day. We really hope you enjoy what we're doing here, what we're trying to do. Don't forget to live your life and have fun. That's really the best advice I can give someone. It's just live your life, have fun.
Live your life, yeah.
Live in the moment, one step at a time.
Yeah, and make sure to follow us on all our socials, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Like us on Spotify. Can you like someone on Spotify? I don't think you can.
You can follow someone on Spotify. I don't know.
You can add our podcasts to your favorites.
You can
How about that?
you can like songs on Spotify.
There we go. Do that. Like our podcasts.
Our podcasts. We're not songs, but I think you'd still like us.
Visit us on our website, loveeverydaythepodcast.com. Send in your messages, comments, feedback. We love hearing from you guys. Like I said, if you're listening to this on Anchor, there's an actual button that you can press that you can just literally just leave a voice message on.
Push the button.
So catch us tomorrow at the same time, 7 a.m. every day.
7 a.m.
And always, remember, always live with love and love your life every day. I'm Jesse.
I'm Thomas.
And we'll see you later.
Goodbye.
Peace out.